It was a birthday gift.
Boom, boom, boom.
What's it called?
Four-gate.
Four-gate.
Oh, dudes like us. It's
ladies and gentlemen,
it's the middle of June right now.
mid-June. Yes,
It is.
Beware the Ides of June, where the heat starts to come out and
Melt
scold
you.
for how dare you be comfortable for the other 10 months out of the year.
God, this week has been brutal.
It has.
Hot stuff.
Yeah, Preston's in the backyard. He set up. I bought him a punching thing like for Christmas. Got him like a really not well, what I thought was a nice one. Whatever, it was expensive.
A punching bag?
A punch. Well, it's a pedestal. You fill up with sand or water,
Okay.
and the little thing you punch, you screws in.
Yeah.
It's a big thing, and he's out in the back with his gloves on, just going to town.
What do you call those things that go diggy, 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 diggy,
Those are
diggy?
Punching
speed
bag or
bags.
speed bag, yeah.
Those are speed
Speed
bags.
bag. He needs
I
a
was
speed
thinking
bag.
Roadrunner.
He's got his Creed 2 soundtrack playing while he's working
Right.
out.
Yeah.
He probably does.
Nice.
Yeah, they like that movie.
All right, so for my birthday back in April, my wife bought.
Well, should we do some
bourbons.
introductions first?
We should.
Oh, hi, this dude's like us. I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff, and we have a special guest.
Special
Yeah.
guest.
Randy.
Special.
Randy.
Randy.
I like that.
He's
It's got a
so
little
Randy.
flair to it.
This is part 2 for
Thanks.
Randy, so we've
Is it
changed
really?
some things up a
No,
little
I
bit.
think he's been on 3 times.
3 times?
Yep.
Third time. Cool.
Right.
Charm.
So, yeah, we've rearranged a little bit, upgraded some things, so hopefully you enjoy it. And we're about to enjoy this
Yeah.
exceptional bourbon that Sean got.
Amen.
Well, we don't want to talk too much about the bourbons because the feedback is that we're it's
Being too
like talking
nerdy?
about beef. It's just like come on,
nerdy.
man, get
No,
over
no.
wood.
Actually, the feedback we got was talk more about beef and the cuts of beef and the parts of a cow.
Oh.
Yes.
They said dedicate more time to
All
that.
right, so my wife blindly went to Total Wine, and she was just she wanted to get me something nice, and she doesn't really know what to get me because she's like, well, I'm not buying him another Xbox, so he's not getting that.
There we go.
So she's like, she picked out this 4-gate bottle. It was
Well, she
$200.
walked up to the glass case
Yeah,
and said, "Open that case."
yeah. And our friend Kevin was there, and he opened it up, and then the
Music,
angels
yeah.
come out. The
Nice
alarm
sense
goes
of
off.
And all the
flowers.
employees gather around.
Look, someone's gonna buy that. Stop it! No, really.
That idiot, he's going to buy that bottle.
So, well, look, you know what? I have my hesitations or my reservations when it comes to these expensive bottles. Are they really that good? Are they really worth it? And the answer is no. I mean, this is good. Is it $200 good? No.
No.
Agreed.
I'm going to agree.
Yeah, it's not
I'm gonna
200
agree.
good because we've had some that are just as good that are less than half that.
That are 80, that are 75.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's good enough that for a single purchase, there's no regret. It's
Correct.
a
Yeah.
solid experience,
Absolutely.
but a one and done is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On our dime, anyway.
right?
Exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
all you listeners, if you want to challenge our theory,
Correct.
There you
And
go.
this isn't a knockoff. This isn't a knock to 4K because it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it worth? Is it?
it's
whatever.
very good.
And it wasn't really to 4K in a $200 bottle. $200 is a little bit too much. It's for those even ones out there like a Liquor King, $2,000, $1,919.99. What was that?
It was a
$24.99.
It was
Come
$3,000, I think, and it's a Woodford Reserve, some
Get outta
special bottle.
But it's been aged at least 4 months.
Yeah. See, the only time, in my opinion, you buy booze like that is you buy it as like a commodity. It's kind of like buying gold because you want to hold on to it until it's you can make some money on reselling it. Otherwise, come on, it's retarded to purchase something like that. You'd have to be stupid wealthy.
Well, there's a lot of people that
Yeah.
are.
Right. So for the people where $200 is $20, perfect.
Yeah.
This is great for you.
Right.
Yeah. That's exactly
So-
right.
4-Gate. This one is a rye. It's not a bourbon. It's a
It
rye
is a rye.
whiskey.
I thought you said it was a rye or a high rye bourbon, but it's a rye.
It's a rye. It's
gotcha.
it's solid rye, and
I like it.
it's got a. I
got-
don't have the bottle. I don't have the
Well,
stats
there you
in front
go.
of me.
It's
and it's a 7-year rye down under batch of 16 is a 7-year-old Indiana distilled rye whiskey with a mash bill of 95% rye, which is
That's high,
That's
crazy high.
pretty high.
But I tell you what, I think we always associate high rye with like spicy and this and that,
Yeah.
and this is not.
Well, it is a little spicy, but
But not
But-
but not crazy.
we
not
used to
crazy.
like we wouldn't like it. We were like, oh, golf at it. Just like, no, I don't want that ride. We wanted the wheat because remember the wheat was so
Right.
smooth. Oh,
Yeah.
we have 9-banded. That's the way to go.
Like Life
it's
cereal.
super.
Life cereal.
No,
Yeah.
that was nasty.
And Noah's Mill,
Oh, be quiet.
super
That was amazing.
weeded bourbon.
Nasty.
And now that our palate is being smacked around by all these different flavors, the ryes are becoming to be more palatable.
I think we need to
I'm
venture
enjoying
in
it.
because we're challenged to find bottles that we're interested in anymore, and we need to get into the ryes. I think because there's some really good ones out there. As
There
in
are.
proof of this.
But there's something very unique about this one. It's finished in a para. Is that a para sherry cask?
Imported from Australia by Kelvin Cooperage.
Would you say a para?
Yeah.
Apera.
Apera?
Sherry.
Apera sherry cask.
Oh, I see. Apera, yeah.
I mean, that's something very unique about this bottle is that
It's probably makes it a little bit more sweet.
it's finished in sherry sherry
Well,
cask.
it's got a great taste
Very
to
nice.
it, and I personally like the higher calibered proofs on these guys because I want to taste it extremely raw. I want it to burn. I want it to taste really good, and then I want to dumb it down myself. I want to be able
Right.
to dumb it down. If I want to add ice cube or
Right.
add it. If I want to add 2, I want to add it. I want to bring it to where I want it.
Right. Put some Coke in there.
So this is MGP, I believe.
Take it back.
Coke. I believe this is
some
MGP.
Sprite, some Diet Coke.
I was surprised that it is MGP.
Yeah.
I figured they would have had their own distilleries.
I would say this: if you are looking to give someone a gift that is of a price range that reflects your appreciation, this one you're not going to regret, right?
No.
So that's like if
No.
you the worst is you spend that and someone hates it. So
Well, yeah, they
this is a
go-
good this is a good
Yeah.
solid choice.
But
at
the
that
funny thing about
range.
that, you got to make sure they're either a bourbon or whiskey fan because if you buy this just out of the blue and they like taste it, they're going to be like, thanks.
Right.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, it's not a taste for everyone at
Yeah.
all. I mean, even though it's like super like it's the cream of the crop for us,
Yeah.
they'll be like, oh my god, this stuff's awful.
So Jeff, you had mentioned something about I had brought up the caramel, and it says it's got some nutty and flavors in there. But you said something. What'd you say?
Well, just in the nose, I picked up the mint.
The
and it
mint.
could-
That's what you said.
It in the nose. It kind of when you smell mint, kind of the coolness. I was kind of picking that up. It was strange. I've never gotten that on a different bourbon before or a whiskey.
I didn't get
That's
that.
what reminded me of it.
All
I mean,
right.
it could be strategic to mitigate the rye, right? So I mean, that could be
Right.
a little bit.
Well, what say you, Mr. Dude Like Us, Randy? What's going on in your life lately? What's the latest and greatest super deal?
The company I'm building is doing great. It's kind of one of those pinch me, pretty great.
Nice.
Pretty happy with that. Trying to stay cautiously optimistic because when things go well, right? Like every movie, the music changes, a shoe
Right.
drops, and the plot has to thicken. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But just having a blast.
Good.
Really, really enjoying it.
Now, are you
Mm.
traveling? I know you at one point you said you're going to have to do quite a bit of traveling.
Yeah, I am. We're opening our 6th city in Atlanta next month, so that's got me on the road between our 5 others we've opened in the last 2 years. But
and
honestly,
what's the business?
technology consulting firm.
Okay.
Best way to explain it is when you go to like the Star, right? An architect builds the Cowboys headquarters and that Star Field and that Omni Hotel. Well,
Right.
we're the architect for all that technology that goes and
Right.
lives and breathes in it.
Right.
So that's our role on projects for real estate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And things have been rebounding in
Yeah.
the last year, but there's apparently dark clouds on the horizon, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're talking about recession. They're talking about things tightening. They're talking about interest rates skyrocketing.
Shortage of food.
I'm hearing all sorts of CEOs come out and say, it's coming, it's coming.
I always wonder how
So-
much of that is posturing for the Wall Street elite to make money off the reaction to the rhetoric.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
I think we have to temper some of that.
Mhm.
I also think recession simply means 3/4 of not growing well. If we've been growing well, it's okay.
right,
It's okay to take a breath every once in a while. We don't have to sprint 365. So,
right.
And I also think for all of us in Dallas, Texas, especially. It's we've been one of the best recession-proof areas. As
Yeah.
things get squeezed, they actually flock to our low cost of living. You probably heard today, Caterpillar is relocating their headquarters to Irving, and we now have more
From California or from where?
It's up north somewhere,
up
isn't it?
north,
Minnesota, maybe something.
Louis, Chicago, somewhere in the upper Midwest. But we
Yeah,
now
we do have that going for us. You're
we
right.
now have more Fortune 500 headquarters than even New York and California now for the first time
Yeah.
ever.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, as of this
Yeah.
week.
But is it just me? I mean, are you guys hearing so much doom and gloom? Like I haven't seen so much doom and
It's-
gloom in
I
a
don't
while.
know if it's just the news trying to beat up Joe Biden by saying all this stuff, but you know,
Because the
I-
midterms are coming up, so they're
Yeah, I
like
mean,
talking a big game or something, or who
what
knows,
I look
right?
what I look at are the cost of living, and you know the gas and how much things are gone up. I mean, is it? Can we handle it? Yeah, I can handle 10%. I can probably handle 15, 20% if it goes up a little bit more, but that's still 10, 15, 20% more than I paid before Biden got in office.
Yeah.
Not to, but you know why? Why is that? You know, we don't have to answer that.
Oh yeah,
Because who knows? It's
that's
too
a
complicated.
heavy topic right now. But you know what? It doesn't hurt. It hurts the people that are like, a man and a wife both working a job or two, and together they're pulling in, way less than probably what any of us make. Right?
Yeah.
It kills them. This kind of inflation and all that kind of stuff.
So not to veer off into a too big of a mathematical computation, but there's no incentive for any manufacturers to keep going when there's a downtime, right? So if you own a manufacturing facility,
Right.
shut it down, don't produce, save your costs. When the market spins back up, just say, hey, supply chain issues, jack the price up exorbitantly, recoup your losses that you didn't have when it was shut down and idle.
Right.
Why wouldn't I need a Harvard mathematician.
That's what they're doing with the gas, in other words.
Right. So we need a Harvard mathematician to go to the critical supplies needed and say, listen, we're going to give you a subsidy of X just to produce Y amount way below so that you don't gouge us on the other side, which is more than the X.
Well, even
Right.
before COVID, we were, regarding the gas, using that as a variable, we were going to work. After COVID, we stayed at home, so
Right.
we weren't selling gas. And guess what? After COVID, the majority of folks are still at home, so they're still not paying gas. So the gas companies out there, they're freaking out because they're not making near as much as they used to.
I don't know.
I think that's
Well, there's no incentive for them to keep running the rig at $1 million cost a day or whatever it is to then have it sit idle in a. And by the way, the refiners can't hold it. You have to move it, right? We're in a
Right.
just-in-time supply chain, so there's some balance there that makes it, of
Well, it
course,
takes-
pinch the consumer.
Right. Well, it takes investors to drill a well, right? And those investors are holding their money because they got bit last time. If the administration relaxes some regulations, and then all of a sudden people start investing, all of a sudden those regulations get tightened up again. It's going to lock all their money up, right?
Yeah.
they're
How
not
do you
gonna-
think the investors for the Keystone Pipeline feel?
Yeah,
Right?
I mean the
Case in point.
It
Yeah.
takes money to
One
drill,
of
and the
many.
people that have the money that invest in this are not spending it. So they're holding on to it until, who knows, maybe 2 more years, right? Until there's an administration change potentially, or regulations.
or
get,
policy changes. It's,
Right.
it's fuck the administrations. It's all about the policies.
True.
And the
Right.
policy that they're strumming right now with this, let's get rid of fossil fuels is, come on, it's just not realistic.
No, it's not.
at all.
And
No,
they need to stop.
maybe a 100-year plan to get off of fossil fuels, but not a 5-10 year
18
plan.
month.
Right.
Biden's thinking.
Exactly right.
I am interested to see what the electric vehicle impact is in a decade, though. At least we'll see something in our lifetime to see the data.
You mean where we get rid of all the batteries?
Yeah, well, exactly. What is the net, and is anyone really going to analyze the true story and, more importantly, tell it?
No, because they
What, in
don't
terms of-
acknowledge it now.
Yeah.
The folks. I mean, I'd like to have a Tesla or some
Yeah,
kind of electric.
I'm not
I think
against them.
I think they're
They're
cool
kinda
shit
cool, yeah.
and
But
everything.
you're referring to the energy that it takes to charge it.
The whole life cycle.
The whole
yeah,
life
right,
cycle.
right.
Yeah.
The whole carbon footprint, so to speak.
But the battery, like in a Tesla, is the entire underside of the car. It's not like a little 12-volt battery. So these batteries,
So it's not like 1,000 double A's.
AAA's.
Well, I mean,
9 volts.
I talk about this on every other podcast, but
I'm sorry.
there's that hydroelectrolysis that they're talking about that is like floating out
That's
there.
never going to happen.
Well, I mean, is that a real thing? Have you heard of it?
That's never going to happen.
They've
So-
got videos
so-
out there every single day that show these guys that convert their God bless it, got brain fart. Motor, whatever kind of motor it is, they convert it to water, and they basically take these plates, they hook up a battery to the plates, put it inside of salt water, the salt water, the electrified plates in the salt water emit the hydrogen, separates it, and the hydrogen is sucked into another vessel where it's vacuumed, and then in return, that's put into the carburetor, and boom, you got
You know
yourself
how all of those videos end with a SWAT team breaking into the house?
Well,
Hut, 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 hut,
Yeah.
There you
hut,
go.
hut.
There, it's up there.
I mean, so listen, the U.S. is, we all know, behind the rest of the world when it comes to energy conservation because we like capitalism and we like selling as much as we'll consume. And that's not a bad thing or a good thing, not
Right.
stating it either way. I'm just saying necessity is the mother of invention. Well, other regions of the world have constraints, so they do innovate and they do embrace it more
Well-
than we do because we can make money at it.
Because we have freedom.
Well, they have like
Freedom of choice.
I saw like in Taiwan, this video, and it was on TikTok, granted, but still, this dude had a hoopty little moped, and he had put several little bottles on the side of it that were filled up with the solutions they have up there, and he was running his little moped on water, and it showed him take a little garden hose and fill
Well,
it
and
up.
it was a kit that you could buy.
Yeah, so
if I remember
I'm just
correctly,
like,
you sent that to me.
why isn't this stuff? I mean, if we really want to talk about the carbon footprint, I mean, why aren't we doing that?
Oh, we know why, guys. The people
It's
who
about
make
money.
the money
Yeah,
control the policy. I mean,
Correct.
I'm not mad at them.
And that hydrogen,
Just-
well, I look, if they're going to make us pay $8 a gallon, or some folks $8 a gallon, excuse me, then I just think it's Department of Energy,
But
basically.
I don't think there's necessarily a conspiracy going on there. I think part of the problem is we cannot appreciate how this stuff needs to scale.
Well-
To imagine that kind of apparatus running a diesel truck, it can't scale. Like
Well, there are
these
certain
energy
applications.
these energy experts know that it takes this much energy, this much power, this much, and
But the EV vehicles can't do it either, right? There are no
Well, this would be a
electric
good-
trucks yet. I don't believe.
right.
When are
Good
they going to
question
come out
for
with
Elon
the?
Musk.
When are they going to come out with the electric combines? That's going to run your farms.
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
And your
I think
tractors. and
it's
your,
almost like more like a gimmick more than it is something practical.
the only
First
electric
off,
thing
first
now
off, what
is
kind of
is,
subsidies is Elon
car.
Musk getting
Yeah.
to run Tesla?
I don't think
Would
he
it be
is
profitable
anymore.
if he doesn't get these subsidies from the government? Is he getting subsidies from the
I
government?
don't think he is.
I don't
anymore.
think
Solar
so.
panels are getting subsidies from the government, right? All the
Well,
solar
they
companies,
were.
Yeah.
Actually,
and they went belly up,
Cylindra. Is that what it's called?
right?
Yeah.
they,
So you know what I
they're
mean?
going through
I just don't know if
phases.
the technology is sustainable.
Well,
That's my point.
I think the evolution is you prove it, conceptualize
Yes.
it, but then you're right, you have to scale. I'll give you an example. So one of my college friends, a company called Ubiquitous Energy,
Okay.
guy from Michigan State and MIT, built a translucent film you can apply to any glass surface. So you look through it like a window, you don't know the difference, but
Okay.
it immediately makes it solar powered.
Interesting.
And so they've been applying it to smartwatches and small window panes. Well, it's taken them 10 years since they invented it
Right.
to finally do a commercial grade skyscraper sized pane of glass. It's
Right.
taken them that long to apply it to where it'll fit a 16-foot tall by 8-foot pane of glass you see on a downtown
To
skyscraper.
be practical.
Right now, once they get that right, but it took 10 years. Like imagine if every building of glass in your high-rise area was collecting solar.
Well, what if it was?
Yeah.
I mean, what if it was? Let's say we did it. How much energy is that going to produce?
So it produces, well, you have to read the paper, but it's got a 0.16 coefficient, blah, blah, but it collects, to me,
Is it enough to sustain the building? Or does it still
depending
need to
on
pull off the grid?
surface area, right? And so, like if it's a 60-story building versus 30-story versus density of usage. But to me, I think the people that I was really encouraged when oil companies were trying to become those new energies, because then those greedy, monopolistic, power hungry guys could just profit on the next great thing. But,
Right.
But it didn't seem to happen. So we need them. We need to appease them somehow. Like, why isn't there a charging station at every gas station? If I'm a 7-Eleven owner, oh no, I'm cutting into my gas. No, they have the car anyway. They're driving by your gas station to get. There's
and
paying.
charge for your electricity.
Well, they charge 30 cents a kW versus the 10, 12 you get at your house or whatever.
right.
So there's a way to get there.
Right. I read an article, it was actually today, that about how to recharge the electric. Because the big question is, how does your electrical grid nationwide or statewide support all the electrical vehicles that people say are going to be out there? And they broke it down by kilowatt per hour. They said, the I don't remember which Tesla it was. The 75 watt or kilowatt per hour battery that they have. And they broke down a solar panel typically makes this much. And they broke it down and says, if you deplete your battery every day, you will need 75 solar panels just to charge this one car.
Wow. Daily.
Well, and I'm also expecting the skeptic to say, what's the carbon footprint to produce that power you're plugging into at your house?
There you go.
So if we're not nuclear and clean and we're doing other things,
Well,
I would expect some criticism in that model
And
too.
that's where the
Well,
Well, it's all
blackouts
natural
occur.
gas, right?
Well,
It's almost
Yeah. Well, also,
undeniably natural gas.
the biggest producer of the solar panel is China right now.
Great.
And I hear that it's extremely dirty to produce these solar panels.
Oh,
as far as
wonderful.
carbon
To
footprint.
make
Yeah.
the solar. Well, and they have no regulations over there. They can do whatever they want.
Correct.
They can pollute as much as they want.
So I think for those listening so far, they should pour another drink. We've solved nothing, and we're not in despair.
I encourage people to go out there and try to convert those motors.
Well, you said you're going to try to do it.
I
What?
want to build a motor.
His Honda
Oh, good
Pilot.
Lord.
He's
I
gonna
want
make
to
his
take
Honda
a
Pilot.
generator. I want to go buy a couple $100 generator, and I'm going to see if I can make some modifications.
I can see it now. I can see the headline in
Yeah.
Dallas Morning News.
You see a mushroom cloud at the
yeah,
Murphys.
yeah.
Frisco
Man trying to build impractical engine kills everyone in neighborhood.
man jettisoned 200 yards. Yeah.
Flying man in Frisco.
In 4 directions.
Well, this one guy, he had he was powering up his torches for welding, and the hydrogen it was producing when he lit it on fire, it was burning through cans of aluminum cans, just and you see there's a big table, and there's nothing else there, and it's all you see it all working. There's a little battery down there, and it's all going down the line, and he's got a little thing, and it's
Crazy.
amazing.
Yeah,
So I'm
it
just
is.
like, there's something there, and it frustrates me when we're talking about all these
Challenges.
these challenges we have trying to get better gas prices and stuff when you can make some simple, hypothetically make some simple.
Hypothetically. Yeah.
Because I mean, they got the story back in the 70s, 80s, in the 80s, where this guy had a little dune buggy.
And they whacked him.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time and has gone zero.
And then poisoned him.
Yeah, they whacked him, you said.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Well, it's a news article. I mean, it was put out that it's exactly what he said. He was having lunch with his brother, and his brother went, "Oh, they've poisoned." The guy was like, "They finally poisoned me. They poisoned me."
Wow.
And he runs out of the restaurant, and
That's why you shouldn't make this little motor.
that's exactly why I should, because you guys will know.
Well, and
There we go.
we're also a little bit biased that we even talk relevant about solar and wind power based on where we are. There are
Right.
some parts of the country that have no sun and no wind. They're like, what are we even talking about?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, they're screwed.
Right.
When all
Yeah.
these all these EPA regulations and everything else they want to do, they're going to be in the dark.
Well, that's the thing.
For
You know,
months.
you mentioned the this new glass treatment, but what happens in some podunk small town?
Hey, where I grew up, there's 65 days of direct sunshine a day. That's 300 a year. I mean, that are not.
Right.
I mean,
That's-
you would do nothing there. And if you get next to no wind,
Right.
like we're
Right.
spoiled. The Sun Belt region from, the Carolinas over to Arizona, just have a different opportunity.
Right.
So I think the only practical solution is something you brought up before, Jeff. You have to require, in an office building, you require all of your employees to pedal all day long.
That's what Jeff said.
And
Or was that you?
No,
That
that
was
was
me.
Jeff.
That was Jeff. Jeff's like, let's
Yeah.
open a gym.
If there's
And we'll
15,000 people
We'll do 1,000
pedaling,
cycles, and we're going to collect the energy. Say, hey,
Absolutely.
you know what? We have a free gym.
free gym.
You guys want to come out to the gym? It's free.
And you do that in your
it's-
office building.
It's cycle hour 24/7, and all you got to do, and we'll see how much that adds to the grid. Now,
Think about
to
it.
Jeff's
If you
be-
don't generate
benefit-
37 kilowatts, you get fired.
You imagine? Yeah.
Speeding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can you imagine? I mean, how much would it produce
To
though?
all get in shape too.
Because from what I understand, based on the little generator you hook onto your tire and you run it up to your handlebars with the little light, and you turn it on at night.
Yes,
and you go
I
as
remember
fast as you
that.
can, and the little light's getting brighter.
It's getting
So
brighter.
is it enough just?
And then
to-
you get tired and it goes out.
Was it like a
Yeah.
2-watt light bulb? or
Yeah,
something?
and then you're like crashing into shit.
You go regular speed, it's all dim. We can barely see it.
Well, you could build those things to create more power, right? The generator better. So anyway, I think it's a
Well,
novel idea.
It's really
good
the
business
only
plan.
solution, Jeff.
I
It's
vote-
the only. It's the thing that's going to save humanity.
well, all the bikes at all those gyms. Just
Here we go
network
again.
it, boom, stick it into some kind of storage thing.
I do believe the gym at my college is powered by the
Oh, stop it.
gym. I do believe that.
Stop it.
Yeah.
No,
But
it
you-
is not.
But again,
You
small
would need a-
footprint.
do you-
Small footprint, right?
You would need a DC to AC converter, and then go back from AC to DC again.
Do they
How
have one-
crazy-
like
what
one
kind
light
of
bulb?
batteries they have to store?
Do they
that?
have one light bulb in that gym?
And the loss switching it twice, right? The electrical loss
Yeah.
and the switching.
What do they call that? A loss.
Okay, here's a great idea. You know, just like there's a Capital One Cup for all Division One schools, like they compete to win the overall championship across all sports.
Okay,
They ought to do one for electrical output through their gymometer.
there you go.
You got athletes up there running. We got to win the
Nice.
cup. Okay, we could.
There's so
we could
many
gimmick
opportunities.
this.
What if we create little tiny generators in every faucet, so when the water runs through it,
There you go. Like a water wheel.
a water wheel.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
enough to power.
You know
like,
how many faucets
your
there are in the
hearing
United
aids.
States of America?
Yeah.
All right, another one pretty out there. It was Matrix movie inspired. Was you know those icy hot patches you can put on your back?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was a power collector, and all day the BTUs you kick off as a human, you come home and you slap that on a console, and that
Oh.
contributes to powering your house.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've already talked about capturing methane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did-
Oh,
did-
well,
did-
why? Oh, come on.
Another
yeah.
idea.
Oh, yeah.
mine.
And see, with
Brilliant.
Jeff, we could put like a hydro wheel on his butthole. And every
That
time
wasn't
he
the idea.
expels,
That was
Think
the
about
idea.
it. Think about it.
Constant.
All your employees, you're feeding them beans. They're on a bicycle.
Where are these?
They've got an
employees you're
ass
talking about?
mask. An ass mask.
You got like a sweatshop somewhere?
No, it's,
I mean,
it's
this
all,
is
all these
brilliant.
cows. You put something over their
No,
butt, capture the
humans.
methane.
Humans,
Well,
while
no.
they're pedaling.
You've got
Cows
these
produce so
umbrellas.
much more.
Is methane? Is it dense or is it float up?
Well, it floats because they contributed to the greenhouse gases, right?
Oh,
They
so
say
you have to
'cause cow
capture
farts.
it.
Yeah, so you have to capture it.
Interesting.
That was really a sad day when you actually found an article that talked about a cow ass mask.
And a guy actually did it.
Yeah.
Makes you think about grass. Like that's all they eat, right? So it's
Yeah.
like,
Grass,
man.
yeah.
Well, I wonder how.
Maybe we need to start eating grass.
if you were to take a hot air balloon, hypothetically, and a hose, and float it straight up in the air. All right. Let's say you get to that area where the methane gas is.
Okay.
What if you get it up to that area and you start sucking down that methane gas and
make like
capitalizing
a
off it?
methane tornado.
What?
Tornado.
And bring
No,
it
no,
down,
I'm
bring
just
it
saying,
down.
get the balloon to the elevation to where that gas is, because you
Okay.
know it's all in these little pockets. The higher you
Layers.
get in the stratosphere,
True.
and so get up to that area and then just start
Interesting. So
suck it in.
instead of deep sea drilling, we're going high air drilling.
Why not?
Smart.
And how clean is that? Hot air
Is there
balloon?
really a layer of methane that's up there? Is there?
Well, evidently, the hydrocarbons are up there, or is that the same thing? The methane, the fart gas.
And you know we have the nanocarbon technology. You can build little tubes that literally can bend without breaking as the Earth spins and rotates. Like we just have a really ugly sky, but maybe it is now to some people.
Yeah.
I
Well, they
just,
talked about those elevators to
I
the
just soft a
to
lot.
the
Right.
moon.
To the yeah, straight up. Yeah.
Or to the space station, right?
What?
You never heard about the elevators?
of course, I have.
Space
I
We're,
mean,
elevators?
we're
Oh,
blowing
of
Paul's
course.
mind right now.
very practical.
Yes.
Of
Oh, yeah.
course.
I think we're worth the $200. Paul, I don't.
Yeah, I'm going to lose this competition.
Good lord!
I'm going to build like.
I'm
you,
definitely.
You know what I wanted to build? You know those little balls that you go
Oh yeah.
back and forth?
Yeah.
What if you build one that's humongous and it just sits there and creates energy, right? It somehow is connected to a generator
That
And my
doesn't
idea is
create-
and
stupid.
it never stops. It just goes click, 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 but it's like a boom, 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 and it just
No.
somehow generates energy.
Somehow. At least mine, I'm telling you how it will.
Well, dude, you gotta. anything that moves, you can connect some sort of
Wow.
wheel to it.
We did not establish the brainstorming rules of there's no criticism in brainstorming.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
Jeff
dickhead.
didn't get that. But
What the
I'm
hell?
just going because
I
he
came
jumped
up with
down
a
my
giant
shit so
ball
hard
rocker.
about all my ideas. Paul's like, "That's stupid. You're an idiot."
I never said that.
I'll rewind
Mine's a
it. I'll
giant.
rewind the
Today.
tape.
I have the giant ball rocker idea.
Good lord. Can you imagine how loud that would be?
It would be really like you would need ear.
yeah.
Paul's
But
trying
it
to
never
save
stops.
energy again.
Does it ever stop? I guess
Yeah,
it
it
slows
does
It
down.
does. It does eventually. Yes.
Well, then you start it again.
There you go.
Yeah, but the energy to pull that ball back. It
Well, just
probably
use
Then the
humans
other thing I was
defeats the
thinking,
whole
what if you
purpose.
made this gigantic thing that you spin it up, right? And it's like a big rubber band, right? And then it unwinds, and when it unwinds, it spins up again, and it unwinds again, and it just keeps going back and
Well,
forth,
that
back
will
and forth.
eventually-
type
It
is
makes
that?
energy forever.
Is that called potential energy? No, it does not.
Yes,
it does.
Because it ends.
But there is one thing. There is in the Smithsonian. There is a pendulum that never stops.
There we go.
I'm assuming that's due to gravitational pull. So
Correct.
there's a free energy from the
Correct.
cosmos.
So it's in the Smithsonian,
Okay.
and it's the string is I don't know 3 stories, and you're all the way down at the bottom. It's this huge ball,
Yes.
and it tells I don't know if it tells a time or something like that, but it's
Yeah.
forever moving.
Attach a wheel to
and
it,
it's got
and
a
you can
big
make
ball
energy.
on it.
We might get a kilowatt a day or something.
well, that's interesting.
That's more than me on a bike.
But 1,000 bikes.
Yeah.
There we
Powerhouse.
go.
1,000 kilowatts. You just
Man,
charged your
see?
Tesla.
See all these people stressing about energy production and all this kind of shit. We literally just came up with brilliant ideas.
We solved it.
Yeah.
We solved the Green New Deal.
I'm so glad NASA listens in. They're going to take all our ideas.
Hey,
They
But
are.
That's
And you know
our
what? And I'm glad to.
contribution to society.
This is our
I'm
giving
interested
back.
on
This
the,
is the way we give
elevator
back.
to
as
the
long
moon.
as you know at the bottom of all those great science articles, there's a citation that's like 100 long of who they're crediting. Just put
Right.
dudes like us
Dudes
on
like
there,
like us.
Us.
Yeah.
In Spanish.
and maybe 4 gates to timestamp it.
Duettas.
Four gate dudes like us.
Yeah, I'm scared to death.
Four
that
gate inspired.
Someone is
dudes
going
like
to
us.
actually try to attempt to make some sort of connection with the moon and the Earth. Yeah, I'm scared
Oh.
to death of anyone messing with the moon.
Do you see that movie, Moonfall? You would like that.
No, I haven't watched it
No.
yet. Is
No,
it
I've
good?
never even heard
Yes,
of it.
it's because it's got the appropriate
Is it
amount
new?
of science with an action movie. You'll enjoy
Is it new?
I mean, just think
Yeah,
about
I think it's the
on
same guy.
Netflix or something, right?
I think it's the same guy who did Independence Day, right?
Oh,
Moonfall.
It's a,
All right,
it's a
I'm excited.
action
I
with
love
those
shit like
destruction
that.
movies, right?
it is good.
Yeah. Yeah, Moonfall.
I love
Yeah.
stuff like that. I'm definitely gonna pay attention to this one.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
brand
he's
new.
from Game of Thrones. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Roland Emmerich. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did Independence Day.
Very nice.
The idea, what I'm talking about, is how the moon
Godzilla.
has so much control over the Earth. You
Yeah.
know,
It
with
does.
its gravitational pull. Is that if we start going up there and fucking with things,
Did you say it's like rings like a bell?
it's yeah.
We don't have the technology to move that thing. We don't.
What do you mean?
We cannot move the moon.
All right.
Is that what you're worried about? Like pushing it out?
No,
or
well,
like, or
just doing anything, going up there and drilling in it, fucking with it.
You're
Like,
gonna
I
love
mean,
this
like-
movie.
like accidentally breaking it in half.
Well, I mean, look, the
it's got
moon
Halle Berry in it.
basically because
What?
the secret
Yes.
of life in how we even exist is through polarity and magnetism. You know how plants grow and how water moves.
I get it.
You know,
Did you say Halle Berry was in this movie?
Yeah, and it also has her. She's great.
When you?
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, Sean. you were
that's
saying
normally
that-
what I yell when I'm drunk and mad. I go, when you did the thing, I
when
get
you when you yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, Sean, but Halle Berry is a little more important than what you were talking about.
We too low.
When you
all right. So Moonfall, and it's 2022.
love it.
Yeah,
That's great.
I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
I have it. You'll
have
enjoy
not.
it.
I like
It's on
Michael Pena.
Netflix.
Michael Pena's funny, but he's kind of liberal, but that's okay.
But Halle Berry's in it.
That's all that matters.
Well, as
Yeah.
long
Quite
as they
honestly.
don't talk about their opinions on stuff. I mean, just shut the fuck up and
No,
play
no,
your role.
it's good. I enjoy
Not
it.
in the yeah, like a woke movie, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I you know what? I'm starting to just blow past that stuff. I do catch it in movies. I catch it in TV shows. I just blow past it. Like every once in a while, Shelly and I will look at each other and we'll be like, really?
It's such a beat
Really?
down sometimes,
I know,
you
but
know? It's just
Man,
like,
there was
can't
one
you-
movie. There was one show we were watching that took a direct shot at Christianity. She and I were like, okay, really? Like, wow. Anyway, there's definitely wokeness. You
Well,
just kind of have
Ricky
to.
Gervais came out with a new
I watched
comedy, and he fucks with. I mean, he kind of uniformly fucks with everybody. But he
See,
took
and I
his-
can respect that.
But he took some good pot shots at.
Well, he
at,
says that he's
Christianity.
a either atheist or agnostic. I can't remember, but it's funny. You need to watch it. My wife and I were down there cackling at it. It's he picks fun at everybody.
I have respect for somebody that he's a comedian and he is very vocal about they should have no rules for comedians.
And that's what basically what
You know
the
what I
show
mean?
is about. And
It's
he
like-
calls that out. He goes,
Yeah.
that's not me saying this. This is my sarcasm. And he kind of launches it out. He goes, I'm going to say some things, and it's not going to be me. It's going to be this comedian over here kind of saying
Just
it.
to make people laugh, think and laugh, right?
Okay, I like it if the boundaries are set. One that I've never really been a fan of is Jon Stewart. Because I think he'll start comedic, but then he goes over the line like he's coming from a point of
Yes.
research and intelligence. And then as soon as people come back at him, he goes, "Hey, I was just kidding. I'm
He's
a
pushing
comedian."
an agenda.
And I'm like, you can't glove and then pass.
Do you have
like,
an example of that? Do you
Just-
remember?
well,
do you mean an agenda like a political
like-
agenda or like a social
he'll
agenda?
cross the line from being a comedian
Right.
to then being, I want to extol some virtues and ideologies and be serious and be taken serious. And then
Yeah,
as soon
you
as
can't
people
do
push
that.
back, he puts back on the comedian coat. I'm like, no, you got to
No.
wear
It
one or
does,
the
yeah,
other.
that
So
doesn't
part
work.
part of one
That
of the
doesn't work.
coattails coattails he rides out is the 9/11 stuff. He pushes for a lot of. He sat up in front of Congress.
Oh,
and
for the
cried. Yeah,
firefighters'
for the
families. Yeah.
Well, I think-
and rightfully so.
I think
but
he gets that from being on the Daily Show. Is that what he was? The Jon Stewart and the
a
Daily
lot of those
Show?
guys are funny and smart.
Just stay there, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
you know.
I agree with you.
It's like the methane gas. Just
Or
stay
when
in
you-
your little area.
Or when you cross over, if someone batters your eyes shut with a really good debate, don't go back into the "I was just kidding." Go, "Yep, you got me.
Right.
I moved over a lane, and
yeah.
you got
Just
me."
own
Right?
it.
No,
Yeah.
What do you think
you're,
about-
you're,
what-
you're
what-
right about
What do you
that.
think about Bill Maher?
Well, he's
Is he another one?
I tell you what, he's been coming out and saying some
Yeah, he's-
some
I
pretty
think-
rational things.
I think he stays more in it. But maybe it's his delivery. His stays just. It seems to be ringing with sarcasm to me that it's a little bit less, but
Well, I think
I just impressed that he's asking challenging questions like that people
He is
don't
now.
ask.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
Which
Go
is
ahead, Jeff.
good.
he
Sorry.
wasn't riding that train. The Democrat propaganda train. Now
Well,
he's like
He's starting to
real
question.
life
Yeah.
stuff.
well, I think he's a true blue dog Democrat, which is the difference than what
Yes.
a lot of the progressives are these days.
Right.
He doesn't toe that line, and he's the old school Democrat. And he's like, yeah, they're not what Democrats stand for. It's they've gone too far.
He's objective enough to step back and go, "Really? Are we sure? Like, why are we doing that?" You know what I mean? And I can respect that. Anybody should be able to step back from whatever view they have and go, "Let's just think practically. Let's think objectively to some degree, and go, is that really the right answer?"
well,
Right?
not only do I respect it, I crave deeper thinking because too many are not doing it.
Yeah, they're just regurgitating
then-
talking points, right?
And I think no matter what exchange happened, heated, disappointing, disagreeing, if people can ground themselves on a couple perspectives, I use one is out of 8 billion people, no one's exactly like me.
Right.
No one.
Thank God. I'm
right?
kidding.
Exactly. Amen to that. But like we all have, there's no ingredients that are exactly the same. And number two, realize how insignificant you are.
Right.
Why not?
I mean, how many people in your life, we might meet 1,000, 2,000 in our life. That's scary to think it's that low, but like genuinely meet and
Right.
interact with.
That's a good
And
point.
then you've probably got 1/10 of that really you matter to.
Right.
So if you go with Maslow's law of neuroscience of human, you need to feel safe, belonging, and mattering. Like we're just not that important. So let's
Right.
calm it down. People are going to go live their
Yeah.
life a different way, and it's okay.
Well, but this podcast is different, of course. We reach millions.
Oh, yeah.
So,
In our minds,
well,
we
and
do,
they're all
anyway.
in Ireland. Come to think of
Yes,
it.
the Irish.
yes.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Oh, Ireland.
I thought it was kind of exciting. I looked today at there's a new analytics tool on the RSS feed, and it shows the locations of our listeners. And I was excited. There's I don't know if it's one person or what, but there's about 60 different listens in Dublin, and the other one was what's Belgium? Is that what it was?
Brussels.
Brussels.
Yeah.
So there's some Brussels, San Francisco, and a few other cities here in the U.S. But that was
So
kind
we
of
have to learn
exciting.
Irish.
Sean speaks Irish.
The trick to speaking Irish is just sing when you talk. That's all you have to do is sing when you talk.
Sing when you talk.
Will you hand me that beer over there?
I can do that.
Yeah, that's all you have to do.
You did a much better job than I did.
I think we should learn Gaelic. Sean, learn Gaelic.
You are a Gaelic.
He's a gay lick.
I would actually like to.
God, come on.
I'd really like to know from those in Dublin who did sign on. Did they do it intentionally or one too many Guinness? I mean, it's an honest
Right,
question.
right? Yeah, it is. It's fair, but we are officially international.
You guys are international.
We are
We're
international.
international, and
Astounding.
I'm struggling to control this growth. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
It's happening so fast. We're at year 3.
I think if we could narrow down our what we're doing, our hobbies. I mean, we're committed to the CNC machine. Which, by the way, we got to get that goddamn. I looked out in the
It
garage
doesn't seem like we're
and I
all
saw
that
that
committed.
the cabinets. in
It's
there.
connecting. It's collecting dust out
No,
there.
well, it will be used. It's just we've got these little roadblocks in front of it, and once those roadblocks are gone, we can go over there and install the cabinet right now. So,
Let's go.
Randy, what we're talking about
I'm
is
busy.
up at a filtered coffee shop in downtown McKinney. We've got opportunity to sell our stuff there. Yeah, so we built this stuff, a cabinet that's got the word filtered on it, where we could put our stuff, and so we connected to the refrigerator. But before we could connect to the refrigerator,
Oh, this was a disaster
oh my!
of epic proportions.
What did I say?
Wasn't my fault.
Unbelievable.
Right. Right.
So we get there. Paul's already seasoned. He's
no.
No, you were well seasoned.
Do not
Oh, dude.
start that story like that.
okay. You
That's
know
just-
what?
That's flat out not true.
But it was true.
It wasn't true. I wasn't
you said
seasoned.
you had 2 bourbons.
Okay, no, that was not seasoned. That implies that I was like, hey, Glenn, come on, let's work.
All right. So Paul had 2 of what he calls bourbons.
Oh, that is outrageous.
Oh, all right.
Which,
All right, well,
which
let's
is
gloss over that
let's-
little
yeah,
area.
let's
So
move
we
on.
arrive at Filtered. The place is closed, and the goal is
Thank goodness.
when the refrigerator arrived 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever it was on a pallet. All right, so this refrigerator is like 32 inches by 32 inches ish, and about 6 foot, 7 foot tall, and it's on a pallet. It's been sitting there forever, plugged in the front. We don't give a shit. It's just been there. For our cabinet to work, we need to put it on wheels. So. We had to step number 1. We got to remove the pallet and then figure out.
No. Step number 1 is we're moving everything in the refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. So we get there and Paul's like, all right. Paul's like, immediately takes charge.
Yeah,
Immediately
because I'm
takes charge.
seasoned
Well,
or sauced or blown up or
control
shit
freak.
faced, whatever you think I was. Anyway, keep going, please.
oh,
Wow.
For the-
micromanager.
For the
Oh,
for the listeners, for the mental image, there's just 3 of you, right?
Correct.
So we can
There's just
already
a-
start.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Okay.
So-
You can be
Yeah.
thankful you're not
So
part of this.
Yes,
the
be
tables.
very thankful.
Paul pulls over the table. He starts pulling stuff out. And look, he wasn't doing anything wrong. I mean, he was doing stuff. I mean, I would personally put him on the bench.
Oh my
but,
God!
Whatever. So
Really?
he's putting these beer bottles on this table that was obviously precarious. I mean,
No,
it's-
it was not at all.
Yeah, it was
It
This is
became
ridiculous.
precarious.
seemingly
It became
ridiculous.
precarious.
It was completely stable until another table was brought over by
Anyways.
Jeff.
The end
It was by
result
me.
is that we had a table full of bottles
Of beer.
that lost its stability
No,
and it was
no,
starting
One leg
to
went
fall
away.
out.
It didn't-
One leg went away, so it completely spilled, and there was an avalanche of glass
And
bottles.
I saved their lives.
You did.
You did.
All but 6 or 7.
No,
it was
4.
fantastic.
We lost 4 beers,
No, there's
and I saved 28 of them.
Can you describe the move? Did you slide in on your back, butterfly your shirt, or what did this look like?
What
No, he
did
just
I do?
did like a big
Man.
bear
Oh.
hug.
I did like a bear hug.
And
But
for
I
those who
was like,
can't
mu-
see,
I-
Paul is gangly and orangutan. Those
Yes.
arms
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
in perfect hand.
Yeah,
That was
Sean
I
just-
was like, "Mama, hold me."
Sean just
I
walked
brought
away.
those beers into my
Oh,
bosom.
that's what you do in a panic situation.
He just walked away.
Okay.
He said, "Unbelievable!" Walked away.
Yeah.
No, but okay.
And Paul
what
and I
you're
are
not
up there
saying is
recovering.
I went to go get tools to fix it. I went and got the mop bucket, the mop. I got a fan. I
bottle
went to go get
opener.
the tools. I did get a
So-
bottle opener because we drank some.
Amen.
as I'm mama bearing these beers that are all teetering, there's ones that are like upside down, about to slip through my arms, and I'm like struggling to hold the table up because it's
Well,
now
my
it's like the
fast
freaking
response-
Titanic.
Yeah.
My
Its
fast
ass is
response
up in the air.
My fast twitch muscles reacted and pulled those out.
Yeah, it did. But while I'm doing all this, all I hear is unbelievable.
Great soundtrack.
No. Just hold the table. I'm on my way. Let me save. I got it. I got you. I got some help here. Nothing like that.
Where was the Superman theme music? Instead, it's Lex Luthor going, unbelievable.
Unbelievable. You
It was comical.
assholes.
It was comical because we were sitting there. We haven't even really started yet. And
haven't
there's
even started
Well,
there's
that's the
so
problem.
much.
He needed to be seasoned. He was
Yes.
foul already.
There was so much
Yeah.
beer on the floor and
Yeah.
broken glass.
Broken glass, and I'm just
beer.
like, what the fuck else could go? I mean, this is like a worst case scenario, you know?
And the funny thing is, on the way up there, we're like, this should be a very fast process. And Sean's like, something always goes wrong.
And I was like, no, get in, get out.
Get
Let's
in,
do
get out.
this.
We'll be done in 10 minutes. No,
Yeah.
it took us, what,
And that's
2
why I
hours.
was like immediately sprung into action. I was like, okay, let's pile up all this stuff on the table. What I didn't know is that the way the tables are designed, there's like
Here we go.
3 that are stable legs and one that's like a fun little flippy.
Now,
it's
hold on. You're,
it's
you're
like a
saying
flippy
it-
leg.
You're saying it wrong. So the tables were made out of gas pipe, all right,
Uh-huh,
and they
uh-huh.
weren't welded. So
No.
they swiveled.
Which
so you got. I
It's a
mean,
really good design, I feel.
Yeah.
now it
yeah, there was some
it needs to
bitching.
be welded. I said that from the beginning, but
Yeah,
sometimes
Yeah.
you know what? Just
You didn't fight that
Did
battle.
you-
so we cleaned up.
Did you design those?
No, I did
tables,
not.
Sean?
I did not. I did not. I built the tabletops, but I did not design the things. But moving on, what we
Okay.
ended up doing is we cleaned up the mess. We emptied it out. We took the pallet out because we moved it over, unscrewed the bolt. The wheels that I had purchased for it didn't have the correct size.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. So
I could have told you
when
that
we-
was coming.
When we, yeah, who knows? You know, you never know until you pull it out. So after we take one of the bolts and we take it to go to Harbor Freight and we replace it. We got the wheels, so now we just have to go back and do it.
Right.
But
Correct.
I'm skipping the whole fact that we went to the Celt after that.
Oh,
yes.
love that place.
Went to the Celt.
Yeah,
Love
we
the
went
Well,
to the Celt.
you did skip a step. There were some beers that had been improperly shaken. So we
Oh,
went ahead
Well,
and
not
knocked out
just that,
some of those.
but
well,
the,
they
but
had
the
laid on the
lid.
ground and bounced, and they had
yeah.
leaked
So
a
we
little.
went ahead
lid
and
was cut
took it
out.
for the team,
Conscientious. Very good.
and we gave it a dignified death down our throat.
I only had half a beer. How many did you have? You had like 6 each, right?
I had 7,
I had
You guys can remember?
I had
That's
2.
impressive.
and then we went to the
No,
Celt.
Look, Randy, honestly,
And it went all downhill from
We-
there.
we
Oh
had-
my god!
we had probably 2 beers there, and Jeff had 1. I said you can only have 1 because
Well, I
you're
drove. So
driving.
Right.
driving.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the thought was in good
Yeah.
spirit, but it was just bullshit.
Have
You know,
you?
we get to the Celt and fuck that all up, man.
And that's
You.
that's what we
You
love
did.
about the Irish. I mean, does anyone hate the Irish?
Well, Paul does because
No.
he's an asshole. Whoa, you called the bartender an
Yeah, you
asshole.
got
and I took
into it with the
major
bartender.
shit
No, I
over
didn't.
that.
Yes, you did.
because you were
no,
well
I did
seasoned.
not.
beyond
I said
seasoned.
one comment to him,
Yeah, well, the bartender
and he
came
didn't
to
hear me anyway.
A bartender
you-
came
you
to me and
smack
was
talked him
like,
quite a
"Are
bit.
you guys talking shit about me?" And I was like, I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about because I'm on the other side of the pole because we're right on the corner of the bar. So you guys were having a lot of conversations that I didn't understand what the fuck.
Yeah, I wasn't even talking to him. I was talking to that couple right there.
Yeah. So
Have you sat at the areola table at the Celts?
Ooh,
Those high tops against the wall. There's one with a good framed photo.
areola.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's go.
isn't
Yeah.
that the area around a woman's nipple?
I mean, if you need to translate, yes.
Huh?
Yeah, it was
We're
good.
scientific.
It was
here.
abstract too. It had a touch of class and art to it.
where's
I
this table
encourage it.
at?
It's probably
Near the stage.
Is it like a moon pie
no,
table?
it's probably 7 back from the stage, so it's almost centered on the bar, centered to
Nice
back.
big
bar,
area.
Well,
yeah.
that's about where we were at.
Yeah, it's memorable.
Hmm.
You know, it was
Somehow-
art. It was art. It was classy.
No, it
Somehow
was
we
on the
missed that.
table or on the wall.
No, it's a picture on the wall,
Of a zoomed-in
and
areola.
I called it out, and one of our friends runs a band, and they sing at the Celt all the time, and he promised to drop areola into his between song soliloquies, and he did fantastic with that.
Well, that's
Nice.
funny.
Interesting.
He worked
I
it
think
in.
it's funny
Yeah.
when you zoom into something where it's not quite recognizable, and you're just like, "Is it?" Just like because there's some pictures out there
Yeah.
where they zoom in on the or the iris of the eyeball. Have you seen that photography? It looks nothing like an eyeball, but it's fascinating because you could see all the detail.
So, what did you think it was before it zoomed out?
An elephant.
I couldn't
badge.
tell. It looked alien to me.
Like
alien.
a freaking Matrix or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
I thought you were going to go with elephant vag, personally.
Elephant vag.
Okay,
yes.
so since he went there on the bed, I'll tell you one zoomed in. It looked like a really nice
A really nice.
woman's upper torso, and then you zoom out, and it's a 65-year-old man with like the biggest side zit, and they start squeezing out like
Oh,
oodles and oodles of
no.
cottage cheese. Yeah, it
Oh,
was
come
awful.
Jeez.
on. That's not
Cottage cheese.
I mean, it's
Good Lord.
that or turned
That
milk.
is
see-
something
Look at that.
I could never. There are these little
Well, okay, hold on. What is that?
TikTok videos.
That's an eyeball
I can't watch that shit.
zoomed way in.
He's getting queasy.
It's gross.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's gross?
Well, that's
it
your
makes me
eye.
queasy. I just don't want. No. I'm talking about the cottage cheese that
Yeah.
comes
Yeah,
out.
that I only watched that once too.
Was that the?
So these aren't zoomed in quite the way.
Yeah, I thought it was
well,
going to go way in.
Yeah,
Hold
the
on,
ones
hold on.
I've seen have been.
I'm trying to
are way
understand
in.
this. You guys are talking about there's videos of them popping pimples that looks like cottage
This
cheese.
is the air. Pay attention.
Maybe it's ridiculously extreme.
What are you saying?
I feel like we're gonna show up at the filtered and empty the refrigerator
Oh,
again.
really? Really?
I want to be like in it.
It's great.
Yeah, there's ones
You just
that
wanna
are
dive in.
just.
Look
I
at
mean,
that purple one.
I mean, you could see that you could see the curve in and everything like that. One there, you
Wow.
can kind of see it. But anyway, I think it's fascinating. The first time I saw it, I was amazed.
well, eyes are fascinating.
They are.
I mean, just the fact that they work on their own, and the way the pupils are the way the iris allows the pupils to open and close automatically, and the fact that you can rub your eyes and you've got this constellation of color, and it's just you can see in the dark. And then you get your. I mean, we're so resilient as human beings.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The human
That
body
one on the
is
left. Click on the one on the
beyond
left.
amazing. Beyond amazing.
The human eye zoomed in and photo battles. So,
Look at that.
well,
Man.
I
That's
find that
awesome.
fascinating. Anyway,
probably we'll need to take a link next
It
time.
almost looks like
Yeah.
it almost looks like a colored hurricane from space, doesn't it?
It's a catacomb looking kind
That
of
could
thing.
be.
It looked like the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Space-
about?
A
Yeah.
space tornado.
the pictures that I saw when I first saw it, you didn't see the eyelashes. You didn't see any
Right.
part of the eye. It was just
Zoomed
that. You're
crazy
you're just
in.
like, what is that?
Right.
Oh,
was
so
like-
you saw the whole iris.
Yeah, it was just you couldn't tell it was an eye, and I was just like, what the hell is that?
I think
Yeah.
the Google search should be like atomic level or atom level.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this
Zoom
is
in.
DuckDuckGo, so
Yeah.
Google may be better.
Yeah.
Well, for certain things, we choose
Hmm.
DuckDuckGo because of the.
The
the-
safety of it.
Well,
We're not being tracked.
It's the political stuff that they always try to hide from us.
All right. So I like this track security thought. I'll bring up a topic. We can pivot if you don't like it. Smart TVs listening to us.
Do they?
Does it care? Do you care? Are you worried? What do you think?
Well, it's no different than Alexa, right?
Right. Right. So does that stuff bother any of you?
Well, it
It-
bothers Jeff.
It bothers me.
Okay.
But hold
I'd
on,
like to hear
I'll
why.
go back to the TV. Does TVs listen?
Oh yeah. That's how they caught the bombers for the Boston Marathon.
I didn't know they had microphones in the TVs.
What? That's how they caught the
Why would
the
they have
bombers?
microphones in a TV?
I didn't make them. I don't know.
Is that verified? Did they ever come out?
I'm not going to
officially
state
and
it's
said that?
verified, but that's what
Well, it makes
I've been led to
sense.
believe.
I mean, after I mean, because
Crazy.
microphones aren't very expensive. I mean, you could probably. I think it's amazing. The fact that remember when Ethernet cables, Ethernet jacks, RJ45s started
Yeah.
populating on the back of these TVs?
yeah.
How
Yeah.
incredible was that? You're like, wow,
Well, so I'll go.
my TV takes
so-
internet.
I'll go first in case Jeff doesn't. I actually have no worry, and here's why. For people that are worried about Big Brother and they're listening in, I'm like, whatever we're doing in our lives is so tame and below the threat level.
Right.
Like, you're afraid they're going to hear what you say to your sexual partner, and they're going to be like, no. Ratchet it up 10 levels. If you're like, yeah, I shot a dog today, still doesn't hit their level. There's some really bad stuff you'd have to do
Right.
to get to the.
To get on some
They're
sort of
like, well,
radar.
you
But,
know, I
but-
beat up 5 guys and I didn't call the cops. They're still not coming after you. It's got to be like, so if you're a normal person, they don't care about
Well, what
insignificance.
triggers them to listen?
Oh,
I
you know
think
they
there's-
have
I think there's
AI
keywords, right?
keywords, right?
So if we're just sitting around screwing around, and we're just like, yeah, man, kill Biden or something
Bomb.
like that.
Right, sure.
Bomb. Yeah.
Bomb.
Boom. All right, now they're listening.
Okay, but now they have the software to then hear what the rest we do. Oh, did you buy the guns today? Did you like?
And
there's
then
a
we're
way to
talking
stitch-
Well,
about
they've got other
we're
stuff
just talking
too.
about the 300 bullets I
you-
got today.
If you're
Right?
trying to build a bomb, then they've got vocabulary that's
Sure.
associated with building bombs.
And by the way, if they came to your door and said, "Are you planning to do that stuff?" and you're not doing any of that, you'll probably have a pretty civil exchange.
Right.
Go on their way. Now, if you're like, "Screw you, man, you can't come into my house," which I never understand those people either.
Right.
Like, why would you not just comply and let's get on? They're
Yeah.
doing their job, right? But it's like,
What
Next thing
I'd
you know,
recommend,
you're
what
someone
I'd
sitting on
recommend
your
is
neck.
saying, "I'm not, but Sean probably is."
Yeah.
That's what
don't-
I recommend.
Go listen to dudes like us.
I don't
He lives
care.
right down the street.
I enjoy using Alexa apps. I enjoy using smart technology
Yeah.
as much as possible. If I can get if I could say Alexa wipe my butt, I probably would.
Also,
would.
I would tell you another
Alexa,
Probably
thing.
turn
have
on the
tried
bidet.
that.
I would also tell you that let's just say my natural behavior prompted one visit a year from a high level government group, and I found it slightly offensive, right? But let's
Right.
just say it took 2 hours and it was inconvenient, and I felt a little bit insulted because I'm a good citizen.
Good human.
If that stopped
the rest of the visits.
100 bad things of
Oh, I
mass
got you, I got
shootings
you.
and bombers, I'd be like, fine, sign
Yeah,
me
but-
up for it.
yeah, but
I'm
are
just
we-
not worried about it.
But are we too willing to give up our freedoms, right? To be.
But what,
I
but-
understand
But
what you're
what
saying.
freedom
I-
have
I'm-
I? What freedom
Exactly.
is I
I'm more
giving
in line
up?
with what you're saying. I am too.
I
If
think-
you have
I
nothing
think-
to hide
Well,
and you're
well,
doing
hold on.
nothing
I wanna hear
wrong,
Jeff.
Well,
why
I think
care?
some of the things that I hear about is, you know, I heard that again. These are rare, but it happens, right? You know,
Your
where
dad's listening.
a couple is talking about their boss or something like that, or their father-in-law. Then all of a sudden, it gets recorded. It's sent to all the contacts as a
Oh, I've never heard that.
yeah, that's happened. And
Okay, that's a problem.
That's a huge problem.
Right.
Totally agree with that.
So those type of things, I don't want Amazon listening to me. You know, if the government is, whether they are or not, you know, that's one thing because we all carry.
Oh
cell
yeah,
phones.
that's doing it too.
Yeah.
If we talk,
Oh,
if we all
yeah.
talked about Cancun right now, when we took a break, we'd all have an ad for it.
Great.
right.
Happens every time.
And it drives me nuts. Why? I don't know. You know, I don't want to be. You know, one of the
So maybe
things.
we need to say dudes like us a lot.
A
Wherever we
lot.
go.
Dudes
you
like
know,
us.
just dudes like us need to keep talking. Hey, dude like us.
Dudes like us.
Proceed.
Dudes like us.
I mean,
God
for
bless.
instance, I was at work
Just dude like you.
researching some things at work. I come home on my personal computer, and ads for high-level servers and networking stuff start popping up.
That's not what it was. It was porn, but okay,
It was.
we'll
it
go
was
with
porn.
that.
I was searching big
Sure.
areolas.
porn.
Big areolas.
That's
It
what
was
it helps.
obese
Tip,
porn.
tip
which is
from a
weird.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
JustTheTip.com.
Yeah, just the tip obese porn.
and that was 10 years ago, right? And you know, I noticed that it linked my work to my personal
Yeah.
computer,
right.
and I didn't appreciate that. I didn't like that
I get it.
at all.
I get it.
So that's when I kind of started. You know, I've lightened up on it. Julie talked me into getting Alexa downstairs. Sonos has a new guy on their speakers. It's not Alexa. It's not Siri or
It's
anything.
Alex A.
It's
It's Bob.
it's Bruce. And
Hi, Bruce.
but you know, I'm in my office. I'm in my
Bruce,
office.
can you play Fleetwood
By the
Mac?
way, to be properly diverse, there should be voices like that for everybody.
But it's a guy. This is the first
It's
guy
Surge.
that I've heard. And
I'm
it's
Sergio.
and I say, "Hey Sonos, play this." Hey Sonos, pause. Hey Sonos, next. And it's a guy who speaks, and it's kind of disorienting because it's always been a female voice, and now it's a guy's voice that's coming back saying,
I want like Snoop.
"I don't know."
Yo, motherfucker, or Reggie
Snoop.
what's that Jackson guy's name that says motherfucker?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson. Hey, motherfucker, I said turn left at the next light.
Right.
Or if you want a Conor McGregor Irish or whatever,
Right.
like just let's
Right.
have that
I like that
adaptability.
idea, though.
Right.
Samuel Jackson. Hey, play
But does
Fleetwood
it-
Mac. Hell no. What's wrong with you?
You stupid motherfucker.
Right. But I've caved in some, you know, in talking to Sean, and he makes me realize I carry a phone around all day. Who's listening?
Yeah.
But I don't want. I don't know. It just seems deeper. Maybe it's because it's Amazon.
Well,
and
hold
they,
on.
They
So
seem
here's what. Okay, so your number one concern was that you could be recorded talking shit about somebody, and then they can send it out. So now that makes me wonder, how much shit are you talking about everybody?
No
Sean?
kidding.
We don't. All of us
About
talk
Sean,
shit
really.
about our families, right?
Okay,
All of us
but
do.
I've never done that before in my
I
life.
have no idea what you're
My,
talking
my
about.
all
guess
do.
is if they heard it, they probably would believe it. And go, yeah, okay, we
that
knew
could
you would.
be. That could be. We've all talked shit about.
And
in-laws.
maybe
That's that's a deep fake.
And maybe it's a bridge to a deeper understanding with
Right.
that loved one that needed
Right.
to happen.
Yeah.
right.
It's a blessing in disguise.
Could be. But you know, I don't like my, I don't
Buildingbridges.com.
I don't like my nest either, and you know, I don't like the fact that my power company can tap in and change my thermostat.
Okay, I agree with that. Like, let me control my domain. If you want to observe it, fine, but
Right.
not impact it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I totally disagree with the insurance things you plug into your car who measure how fast you go, how quickly you
Right.
stop. Did you get? I
They're
don't,
they're trying
I don't
to
wanna do that.
they're trying to socially engineer us.
I don't
I actually
know.
like that one because
I'm not against it.
I'm money motivated, so I'll just chill a little bit to like I love getting $90 back
Kind
or
of a
whatever.
black box on the back of
You
the
don't have to do it. Is the
airplane.
point?
yeah, exactly.
If
and I
you
choose
speed,
not
they
to.
don't increase.
But here's
They
the
s-
thing.
If
Well,
they
if I
say
drive
they
118 miles an
No,
hour
they
to
say
Walmart
you
and park sideways in the parking lot,
Look
I don't
up-
want to be dinged for that.
no, they won't. Look on your agreement and stuff. It'll say if you go above, you don't get increases. It's just to reward safe, and that was
Maybe
probably
for
a
now.
legislation
Maybe
they had to
for
do.
now.
You
They're
know?
going to change it because
You
they're
know,
they're trying to
I
socially
think-
engineer us.
I think I agree. I think it's, there's going to be all kinds of accountabilities that are going to start happening from
Yes.
these new apps.
It's already happening in China. They have
Interesting.
a-
You think there'll be
China?
yeah, they have a social score
Oh
in
yeah, I
China.
bet they do.
you think there'll
They
be
do.
social
Are you kidding me?
accountabilities?
No,
Is that why these guys are jumping off balconies?
there's probably multiple reasons why they're doing that, but no, they've talked about social scores where if somebody, like if you're rude to somebody and somebody thumbs downs you, you know what I mean?
you
Like
get a 5-star, 4-star
Dude, there's
review
you-
There
and-
are
and so
movies about
as a
this.
human.
yes, China's starting to do that. It's a social score. So if you are being pleasant and you're being this and you're being that, you're going to do great. I mean, they're trying to socially
Oh, my
engineer us
God.
to be
the word is
perfect
social.
humans.
It is socialism, and
Absolutely.
It's
So
it's
the,
wrong.
the
It's a
problem,
real thing.
The problem is the optimist in me kind of likes it because most people are
you
too.
want people to be drones.
No, most people are too
No,
lazy and
it-
they'll fuck up, and I'll go make more money than everyone else because I'll work hard enough to be nice all the fucking
There'll
time.
be very
Yeah.
quick separation,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Quick separation. I
if,
get that.
if it was voted on that, just send me the check.
Right.
But I always say, what are the rules? Tell me them, and I'll go win. But you know, I hope
Yeah.
we don't go there. I'm
It's
not
a dangerous,
I-
slippery
I'm sure
slope.
you guys have talked. By the way, for all the listeners, I'm a rogue visitor. So these guys are the power horse that have made them international. I actually,
international.
I
I
actually,
like this. We are international stars.
We are international.
I actually do
Oh.
want to say, cue the harp music for anyone.
Dude, we're gonna have
feeling-
centerfold pictures.
For anyone feeling
sure.
defeated,
I'm gonna be spatchcocked. Like,
yeah. For anyone feeling defeated and you can't achieve your goals, the dudes like us said, "Listen, we're gonna build a podcast. We're gonna cover the U.S. We're gonna hit Brussels and Ireland," and they fucking nailed it.
We did. That actually was our first goal.
I mean, that was slide 1 on the world domination presentation, and
Brussels
these
and
guys
Ireland.
did it. So set your mind to a goal. You can accomplish it.
do you have any idea what we're paying those two guys?
yeah.
A lot of Guinness.
A lot. A lot.
No, so I'm sure you guys did this topic. If we can, we don't go on it, but the whole metaverse stuff.
We haven't talked. We
You
did a
talk
little
about
bit.
the virtual world where? Oh my God!
You go home and you slap on goggles. It's the bastardization of Wall-E, right? Wall-E, remember that movie? What a great
Yeah.
Well,
movie
there's been
about the
multiple-
future.
It is,
But there's been
I'm
multiple movies like that.
vastly against the whole metaverse.
I
Totally.
refuse. I
Totally.
refuse.
What's crazy is
I'm not
they're-
buying
they,
in.
they
No.
are buying real estate
Oh,
in this world.
They're buying artwork.
Austin just made a face. What's going on over there?
He thinks we're wrong. He's young.
Is
No,
Austin a big?
like Snoop
They're-
Dogg. Snoop Dogg bought like some major stake in it, where he bought like this whole community.
Yeah,
It
people are.
was centrally based, so that
aren't-
was like one
It's
of the
like
first
Snoop
things.
Town or something.
Aren't people
right?
like
Crazy.
they're
well, the rich
opening like
people are going to be the
restaurants
rich people in
there.
this as well.
Right. It's just a way for them to get in early, control us, not only in the real world, but in the digital world.
And the digital world, they spend money too.
No, listen, humans are going to come home from their job. They're going to put on this goggles, and then they're going to spend their real money to buy fake sneakers for
Yes.
their avatar.
Yes, and actually, at some point,
What the guys?
Randy,
I
at
mean,
some
I
point-
like trends and innovation, but I'm not on this at all.
Pass.
This is so the Matrix. Remember with the battery scene? We're just humans. They breed humans for
Yeah.
electricity to power.
Electricity.
Yep.
They're now just breeding us to siphon our money. It's
Yes.
crazy.
100 years from now, they're not going to be coming back from a job. Our job is going to be in
Yeah,
there.
I got to put on my avatar
It's
and
going
go
to be in there.
work in the metaverse.
Yeah.
No.
No. We're going to be laying in a chair,
Yeah,
connected
like an
24/7.
avatar. Yeah,
And
So
we're
how
gonna
do
be-
you- how do
and
you
that's our
control
work.
it? And you know what? I don't want to control. Look, here's the thing: if you slap on those opticals, which I haven't done yet, I've
I
yet
have.
to. I
My
haven't-
dad bought an Oculus for his birthday.
was it
we were
nice? Was it cool?
Oh,
cool.
it was extremely
cool.
cool.
All right, but look, here's the
Extremely
thing.
disorienting too.
I
Yes.
think it's a fantastic thing. Austin probably has the most feedback we can probably get. He has spent
Do you have a microphone?
a
sir?
year inside those.
Am I allowed to sue them if I hurt myself wearing the goggles yet?
Well,
You
I mean,
can so easy,
Okay, so
so easily.
I'm going to
you
do that.
can.
Oh yes,
Because they haven't written the end user, the EULA, right? The end user licensing agreement yet to mitigate if you hurt yourself or damage
Oh,
property.
my gosh.
Well, I told my dad.
Looking for a hook.
Well, I told my dad he's 80, and I'm wearing this, and the boys are wearing this. Brandon and Steven are in their early 20s.
So is your dad going to a lot of these porn shops? He's wearing
It is.
the
He's remember Sylvester
the
Stallone?
red, the red light district.
the Asian.
What was that movie with Sylvester Stallone? Demolition Man, where he has sex with Sandra Bullock in the virtual world.
Oh, no,
yeah.
Sandra.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
But
Okay.
what
Yes,
you what you do
exactly.
is you put this on, and
Sandra's
it's
hot.
I mean, it is.
She
You're
is.
in this world, and I was
Remarkably without boobies too.
I was in some game, and I had to fly up onto a ledge, and I got onto that ledge, and I almost fell over because I got onto the ledge, and then on the other side it went straight down, like hundreds of feet, and I went up there, and I almost fell, and I was just standing flat on my feet in my dad's living room, and I had to back up and stop, hit pause, because I almost fell over flat on my face.
You know what that means? You're not divergent
Yeah.
I guess not.
from the movies.
I guess not.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my dad said that he uses it, but when you do this, you create this area,
Circle.
the circle, right? And he makes sure that his chair is in it.
So,
when he gets like that,
Oh, there's a way to map out
he
your
sits
whole
down.
house. Technically,
He sits down.
but
No,
it's fascinating that your father is into this. Why
I mean,
did he
that's
buy
the
it?
total opposite thought, right?
Yeah. Why'd he buy it?
I don't know. We were out there for his birthday in April, and he's like,
he's looking to get some action. Man.
well, he did.
Yeah.
He goes.
Going to
he-
red light district.
He
He's
asked
like,
me. He goes,
"Hey, how you
and the
doing?"
boys. He goes, "We know about Oculus," and both the boys went. Their antennas went up, and I was like, "It's cool. It's very cool. It's virtual reality." He goes, "I want to get it."
It's like crack cocaine, man. Honestly, you're playing with fire.
That's amazing.
And-
Sean,
Yeah.
are you in
So
insurance?
he bought it.
No, you're not in
No,
insurance.
well,
So
I mean,
what does he
kind
do
of.
in
I'm an
there?
adjuster.
Okay, so I'm already
All right,
thinking,
Keep that.
think about divorce court. If I cheat in the virtual world, does it count?
Yeesh.
Right? Like there's a
Yeah.
whole, lawyers are just like, oh my gosh, there's so
Well-
much more money and
Well,
work.
are there attachments that you
but
wear?
But you know what? If I'm playing video games and I shoot somebody, does it
Right.
matter?
Oh,
Yes, no,
It's the
that's
same
murder.
thing.
So that's the precedent right now. But all it takes is one crazy jury to empathize with somebody on the other side. Right?
So in
Well,
the
there's video games.
metaverse,
There's video games out there where you have sex.
what?
Yeah, I know. I played God of War, and I had
He
se-
played it. He had
Yeah.
I
sex.
did. I was playing God of War, and
Hold on.
I had to hit
Oh,
these buttons.
yeah, they have sex on there, but you're not like
No,
You had sex with an
having
ogre.
colloidal sex.
no,
with
it was
a
it was
orifice
it was
of
a
some
it was
sort.
an attractive, busty woman in the game, and you have to hit these
Oh,
buttons.
you had to throw in busty.
Oh,
Busty.
why
No,
would they
it's-
not
it's a
be? It's a
When you say
game.
It's a game.
When
and
you
hit
say
these
busty,
buttons.
Oh yeah. What do you mean?
Good
Like put
Ds.
like people down like Sandra Bullock?
Good D's.
Like she
no,
couldn't be a good one?
No, they're D's.
So you know how some people's personality make them taller than they
Wow.
are? Sandra's personality makes her boobs bigger than they are.
Yeah.
I mean, she's
Wow.
quality.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And she's 50. I mean, hello.
She's well, I thought she was older, but
Oh,
she is older.
don't say that.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she
All
is.
right. Can we get a
How old is Sandra
a
Bullock?
ruling on
producer?
this?
I would say she's 52.
Julie and I just
She's
watched a movie
56.
with her in it.
56?
She's not
Yeah, I think she's
56.
Oh,
56.
The Lost City.
No
We just
way.
watched The Lost City.
Oh yeah, with
64.
Channing Tatum. 64.
So
Yeah.
she's
55.
55. That's
No,
close.
50.
No.
no 7.
She's 5 years older
She's
than me.
58.
She's
What?
5 years older than me, and I'm 53.
Well,
She's 58.
Sean,
Wow.
Sean, you win.
You do win.
You get a
do.
$200
This is
bottle
amazing.
of bourbon.
I don't think
Yes.
I don't think you've ever gotten
Oh,
anything
I've already
right
got
on
You
this
got
podcast.
that.
This is the first time ever you've gotten something right.
Oh.
I tell you what, with the
All right.
Oculus,
So-
Oculus, one thing I figured out for my dad, which I think he would enjoy, is he could sit down and it's like he's in a theater, because you're in this room and you can watch TV, ESPN, HBO, all these channels, but you have this huge screen in front of you, so it looks like you're in a theater, but you're sitting on your sofa with these things on your face. So there's this 120-foot screen in front of you, watching TV, high def.
Well,
All right.
look, here's the thing.
Pretty cool.
If it improves the quality of life for your father, who's at a certain age,
Right.
who cares?
Oh, I don't care.
Absolutely, no.
the-
I just told him, I was like,
the
you need to be
problem
careful
with-
because he'll
I-
fall.
The problem that I
Right.
find with the VR and that type of is that it monopolizes your time and it sucks you into this. Well, that's it. It sucks you in for like a whole night. So you show up, like you said, you come home from work, you pop the opticals on, and you're there until you go to bed.
As
Yeah, he's not doing
opposed to
that.
the video games that you play.
Well, no, that's not true though. I mean, no, when the kids, okay, for example, when the boys would go to bed, I play like World of Warcraft. But
For hours.
yeah, that's true.
Uh-huh.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
Austin, speak.
Distraction.
Support me.
He has no microphone. Checkmate.
Yeah.
Well,
He gave Austin just gave me a checkmate.
wow, Paul.
I nailed
Done.
you. All right.
Wow.
Well, you know what? Okay. But I think it's unhealthy socially for kids, not for adults. I mean, I'm an adult. I'm married. I have kids. You know what? When what I do from like 8 to midnight is my escape. You know, the wife's in bed. I've got
it.
Sean time. If I want to if I want to play whatever, including the VR, which I don't. I think that's okay. The problem with the kids is that I think
I'd
it
get
stunts,
a VR.
I think it stunts them.
Could be.
I think it stunts their social
I
behavior.
think that'd be a great
Yeah.
discussion later when he was talking about the camping and the other things and what the obstacles we're facing with the next generation. But here's one for me: is there are times I'm on my phone, my wife's next to me in the bed, she's on her phone, and I really want to put them down, and we don't.
Right.
I think the goggles will be even harder
Oh,
to
yeah.
put down. So my point is, it's about degree, and that's a word we've lost
Unless
in
you
our world.
both-
It's absolutism everywhere.
Unless you both are
Right.
wearing the goggles and you can see each other in
You
bed.
can.
And
When
you
you're
like,
yeah.
You can.
and you could change her.
I
to
would
Sandra
just, I
Bullock.
would just really like to exchange real fluids instead of digital ones.
There
I
you go.
agree. I
I'm
agree
going
with
to
that.
declare there. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
going to draw a line.
The bottom line is when
Kinda
we're
gross, but I get it.
neglecting real world things,
Right.
like time with our kids, time with our wife, time with our friends, time doing real things. It's a bad thing.
I also don't think we've talked about this for years, like the insecurities for both males and females looking at magazines and comparing ourselves. Well,
Sure.
if we could digitally recreate, like, let's just be who we are. By the way, for the audience, we are all gorgeous. We
Oh,
are the
no.
most
Oh,
gorgeous
yeah.
people
I'm
you've ever
6 foot
seen
4,
digitally. Right.
I don't think I've ever been this way.
210
I mean,
pounds.
take Hugh Jackman, take
I go
Zac
by
Efron, take everyone, put
I
them all together, make your best beautiful man baby, and that's
hung
us.
like a government mule.
Right.
Yeah,
My nickname is Adonis.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean, yeah,
Nice.
exactly.
I
So,
love that.
so it's like I don't know if that all helps either for mental health, right?
No, it
Right?
doesn't.
You know.
No,
But it does help that we're like I said, we're
Luckily,
chiseled.
right.
I'll
Yeah.
be surprised.
I
if
feel
it-
bad for other people.
Well, I'll be
right?
surprised if
Yeah.
the metaverse, at least this iteration, succeeds. I think it's an ultimate thing. I don't know if this one will succeed, but I think
Well,
something may
What's
come
the
along.
Facebook guy's name?
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Zuckerberg. He's invested a shitload of money, and I think it's an addiction.
No, listen, that's the problem. All of us, we're not going to give away a demographic age, but we are not what we're thinking. I mean, my son plays the most wealthy game company in the world that is free. Right?
Say that again. He plays the most wealthy.
The wealthiest game company out there
Okay.
Blizzard.
has a free game
Okay.
called
Fortnite?
Fortnite.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So Epic Games charges nothing to play their game. And it's the wealthiest company, like
That's because of all the little upcharges they have.
Yeah.
skins,
Yeah.
season tokens, all
yes.
these things. And so look, this group growing up, I'm telling you, my youngest and my oldest are 7 years apart. It might as well be a chasm the size of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah,
Raising
'cause it
them in
takes
a
like a-
digital world.
I mean, think about
Right.
it. If you,
So
if you
that's
go out
who
there,
they're grooming. That's who they're grooming. When
and you
those
buy
people
a-
make $100,000
a $59 game,
right.
which is a typical price of a game, $60 ish. I mean, you're no longer paying $60 if it's free. So they're hoping they are going to get that $60
They
and
are.
then some.
Yeah, because you can't succeed in the game unless you've got all that other shit, right?
Correct.
No, it's not
It's
just
not
that.
just that, but I know a lot of games. I read the reviews. They're like, I paid $60 for this, and then there's a release after that opens up this world, or there's this
Yes.
skin, or this. But in order to get the entire experience, you're paying $200, right? To get to get the full experience of the game.
Right.
I heard
Otherwise, you're getting like a beta version, not a beta
not
version,
a beta
but,
version.
Uh,
Alpha.
an Omega version.
I think the point I was making is we don't understand the audience that they're selling to
Right.
because we're not them.
No.
Right.
And it's a little scary. And man, as parents, how do we give as many before we die? I hate to be morbid there, but how do we give as much advice before they
hold on.
go like, hey, fight that?
Can
you
we
know?
hit pause for a second?
Yeah.
Mr. Producer. I was rather alarmed today when I got that text message with my credit card. And so I started looking into the credit card stuff. No. So I looked on the credit card and I was going over the expenditures. and
Charges, yeah.
I noticed that there were a few dollar items on there, which is okay. But was that you? $1 for EA.
Were there
It's Electronic
977 of them?
Arts.
There were
Yeah.
like 4 of them.
Yeah.
Oh.
I get on Brandon
It
so
may,
much
it may
for
have been
that.
something else, but whatever. Well, there.
Oh, I find charges like that all the time.
I get on Brandon so much for that. I was like, he's like, I spent $2 on this. I was like, yeah, but it's stupid.
You
Why
spent
do you need this?
$2 on it 60 times.
So you can have red hair.
I don't know. It was recently.
So where I diverge a little from you is if you want to pay that fine. But so my 13-year-old, the rule has always been to ask permission for
Right.
a charge. So what I've done, he has done 3 charges, not consecutively, but 3 sporadically over like 4 months where he didn't ask permission. So I make him give me 2x the cost. I charge him 100% penalty rate. So when he tries to charge
That's a good idea.
$9, I go, you have to pay me $18.
I like where this is going.
Me
Because I'm
too.
like, hey,
'Cause-
just ask me permission and have the respect that it's my money and let's have a conversation.
Right, and that's the problem I had with Brandon is he would spend the money.
You should be in politics.
He would spend the money and then not have any
Actually,
to pay his rent.
Right.
it's more of a
Yeah, that's
manager.
not cool.
So I'm like, well, are you looking at your budget? What are you spending on? I was like, let's look at this. Oh, you spent $10 here. You spent $5 on this game
Right.
that you'll play for 2 months and forget about it.
Right.
Now,
You know, the
I
other
understand. I
option you
understand entertainment, and there's a cost for entertainment.
Right.
I have no problem with that, but it's there's a certain
Irresponsibility.
class or irresponsibility of class of entertainment that I have a problem with.
I love video games. No, go ahead.
Well, you know the trick. So you know the boiling frog theory, right? You put a frog in water.
Slowly.
If you turn it right on flaming hot, it'll jump out. If you put a frog in water and you slowly turn the temperature up, it will sit in it until it burns to death. What they've figured out is drip charging. $2, $5,
Right.
$9.
You don't freak out.
And what happens is because no one writes checks and doesn't register anymore,
No.
Right.
it just swipe. Oh, not even swipe anymore. By the way, thank Amazon for frictionless buying. Set up the
One
card,
touch.
click, done. What happens is the end of the year, the statement comes, or the end of the month, and you're like $900 upside down, and you don't know how you boiled to death as the frog.
Right.
Which, for years, we can all probably appreciate this. Why don't we teach financial literacy in high school? Because we don't want literate consumers.
No.
We want stupid consumers that'll buy a $2,000 TV for $6,000 over 72 months. So we've got lobbyists and things to do that. So we've just digitized that into a very incremental.
Make it even
where-
easier.
So now you're there parenting that, and he's like,
Right.
Dad, I didn't do that.
Right.
And he doesn't know as a frog he boiled to death and can't pay rent.
Right.
It's so true. It's so true. It's like when I look at the credit card bill and they go to 7-Eleven and they buy, $2.74, or they, you know what I mean, or it's $1.68, or it's I don't.
But it's all of them added together.
I know, but I look at it and I don't freak out. I don't freak out. I'm like, I go, damn it, I got to talk to them about this, and then I kind of forget. But when I see a $47 charge, I'm like, what the hell is this?
I think what you should do, probably all of us need to do this, at the end of the month, your bank will do this. Show me where my expenditures are.
Right.
And you'll see a pie chart or however it breaks it down. You're going to like, wow.
91% on porn.
Yeah, wow. That was $1 at a time. Right?
That's a lot of single dollars
man,
there,
you-
Jeff.
Feeding those quarters.
Yeah, what do you-
About to tell you, your
Walk-
right forearm's looking really rich,
Yeah,
bro.
walk me through that. $1 at a time.
You're the one who says you have 91% porn charges.
Well, yeah, but at $1 at a time?
Well, what's your charges?
Good Lord, that's a lot of time.
It is a lot of times.
All right, sorry. Go
But
ahead.
yeah, I agree, and and it's I have the discussion, and my wife is a finance teacher, and she teaches personal finance, and she's trying to get it to be a graduation requirement in the city we live in, right?
It should be.
It'll never make it.
Well, she's trying,
I appreciate that, and I hope she wins.
right? Because
But
the
this
kids
economy
these days- 'cause I-
runs on that, huh?
because I tell you, she gets the most thanks for that class
Mm-hmm.
from the parents and from the students, that once they get out of college, they come back and thank her for that class specifically. That
Nice.
says, thank you for telling me how to
Manage
balance a
my money.
checkbook,
Yeah.
manage my money, to understand
And
how
it
I'm
seems
spending
so
my money.
simple. I mean, why wouldn't they want to teach that?
Because we've already said
Yeah, well, I don't know.
uneducated consumers give away their money to the people
So
who need to
this
make
is
money.
all propaganda to keep the kinfolk down.
So if you live by the theory that if we were to take all the wealth in the world and give it evenly to 8 billion
It
people,
doesn't
Yeah.
work either.
in 7 years it'll be back in the hands of the same rich people.
Oh, of course.
That's the rule. And the whole point is they don't want you to be educated because that makes the game more difficult. All
Yep.
we've done, if we want to really back it up, capitalism is really civilized greed, guys. Let's be honest.
Sure it is.
Cro-Magnon, he comes over to my house, says, I like your wife, I like your house. He beats me up, kills me, he gets it. Now he says, I like your house, I like your wife. I'll sell you this heavy mortgage with a pre-penalty payment insurance and a high interest rate, and I'll give you this TV. Like, we all enslave each other in a much more white-collar, civilized way. Today's world has just digitized it and made it AI to where someday they're going to learn your threshold of where you give a shit.
Right.
You're going to call your credit card company and they're going to learn. Paul called when it was $47, you said before?
Right.
Oh, shit. Every charge is going to be under $45.
Right.
And then when you call, it's $30 and every charge is going to be under $30.
And they heard me say it.
right. And so
Yeah, and your phone
Yeah,
right now.
Son of a gun. They're feeding that shit to Citibank right now.
oh, listen, that is
Wow.
it. And so as parents, we have to teach them. And that's the hard part is how many of the vast majority of people, not to go socioeconomical, don't have the parents with the
Oh, yeah.
time or the care or the attention to teach them those things, and they just feed the machine.
Well, the frustrating part is we've at least we've thought we've taught the boys, right? But I take that back, because I've made a lot of mistakes when I was their age. They're still making mistakes and spending money that they don't necessarily have, but they spend it incorrectly,
Right.
and frivolously when they shouldn't, especially at their age. When and I always tell them, I was like, you're college students. You shouldn't be living like a king right now, and you shouldn't be owning this
Which is
or this or
the
this.
way they were.
Yes, they live
It's
like
Absolutely.
crazy.
Oh yeah, the food they buy, the restaurants they go to, the alcohol they somehow manage to buy.
Right.
It's all like top notch stuff.
Yeah,
Like when we were there, we bought the shit beer.
yeah.
And we bought we went to the bars that had the ridiculous binge drinking penny drinks. They are going and out there and spending $11 on a drink. I'm like,
And they're buying $300 bottle service.
no.
So
No,
one
no,
of the
no.
problems is the developers, real estate developers who build the student housing. These kids live in better student housing than they can afford as an apartment in their first job,
Right.
and they charge the parents
Oh yeah.
for that.
We're shelling out $700-800 a month.
That's
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
yeah. That's number one. Number two, by the way, this table, dudes like us, we're not perfect. We're at fault, and I'll tell you where we're at fault.
Yeah.
So, if you live by the theory that you want every generation to have a better life than you did, right?
Right.
That's an evolutionary mantra.
Yes.
Right.
The problem is we typically default that the betterment metric is making it easier and more convenient and less painful.
Right.
That's what we've done.
We don't want them to struggle in
As-
any way, shape, or
as
form, or
much
even be uncomfortable.
Degree as much or whatever. We just want it to be easier because we all had our deals. You were going to talk about
'Cause we love our kids.
jobs we had, and the things we did, and the shit we peddled. Right. The problem is when you do that and you remove those barriers, there's a consequence to that.
Yep.
And we're starting to realize that they don't have the perspective to understand that consequence at all.
No.
I'd like to
And,
cover
yeah.
that. I'd like to cover that in our next session.
I agree.
And because I know I my kids don't do, or I don't want to say suffer, but they didn't go through near what I did, and I didn't go through near what my parents went through.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
So I think that'd be an interesting topic. Just even at our generation, what we did as our first job or first 3 or 4 jobs compared to what our kids are doing today.
Love it.
Yeah. I just solved that problem by beating my kids.
Well, in lack of
I-
appreciation,
you know what I mean?
too.
I
find that
introduced
most
that.
kids don't appreciate what's going on either.
That'll-
They don't understand this. What's going on? They don't understand where the money's coming from. They think it's some magical beanstalk.
So
Right.
for the next part is that was an incongruent statement. Is lack of appreciation, but they don't understand. That's the bridge. They can't
Yes.
appreciate what they don't understand. So that's going to be a fun second half.
Right.
Yeah. All right, dudes like us. Hey, look, man. This is the Ides of June. I'm Sean,
I'm Paul.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Randy.
and this is Dudes Like Us.